on. Let's see if I can figure this out. This is the first time I've ever gone live on YouTube. I've been wanting to do this, but I always just like forget, So let's see if I can figure out how to go live on YouTube. And then I got my whiteboard here. I've got everything on. Let's see if I can figure this out. This is the first time. Okay, oops. No, I don't. I've ever gone live on YouTube. That's not what I want. I've been wanting to do this. Okay. All right, so now we're live on YouTube. We're live on Zoom. I only got 2 of y'all on here. Okay, well, we're going to get started. All right, so introduce yourselves to me because there's 2 of you, Dawn and Marquez. And as you know, more people will probably show up. It always takes a couple minutes for everybody to show up. But introduce yourself in the chat, or if you want, just I can allow you to talk since there's just a few of us. All right. And if you want to introduce yourself to me and tell me where you're at in your storage investing world, that would be awesome. You can always unmute yourself and say hi. You want to do that? This is like your chance to talk to me, and like I can help you kind of get going on your storage investing world. Have either of y'all looked for storage facilities yet, Dawn, or is it Mark, or how should I say your name? No, nobody wants to talk to me. I just want to be quiet. No talking. Let me see. No introduction. Ask to, oh, maybe I can introduce you. All right, we're going to be doing like a group session today. I'm going to just scare y'all. All right, and just like tell everybody y'all can come in and talk to me. Y'all can ask me questions. How to get started in real estate investing. And if you want to talk, you can. If not, just put yourself on mute. But why don't you introduce yourself to me? And let me know where you're at in your storage investing world. How's that? Can you do that? Anybody want to talk to me and introduce themselves? Or put yourself in the chat and introduce yourself that way as well. Okay, Cody's unmuting himself. Say hi, Cody.
Hi, Stacy. How are you? My name's Cody. I'm here with my buddy, Joe.
Okay.
We're from Arizona.
Okay.
Myself, I'm new to the investing world, and I was presented my friend Joe told me about you, and he has been following you for a while, and he is super invested in what it is you've got going on, that he shared the information with me, and I was so excited and just so attracted to what it is that you've got going on and how your process works, that I truly feel that I could implement this in my life and make it not only passive income, but definitely generate generational wealth for myself and my family.
Okay, awesome. I love it. So both of y'all are in Arizona. Where are y'all at in Arizona?
Scottsdale.
Okay, right. The most expensive place in Arizona.
There you go.
Awesome. Okay, well, so we can start with y'all since y'all are here, and we can just kind of help you to get you started. Usually I just started like a brand new webinar last week, and so we're just building it up. So it's kind of like small groups and stuff, which is fine. It's not a big deal. And we're live on YouTube, just so you know as well. And so what I can do is help you just kind of figure out how to get started.
Right.
That'd be the best thing, I think, right? Have you watched any of my webinars previously before or anything?
I haven't watched any webinars, but I've been watching your YouTube videos. I've heard different interviews you've done on Spotify with some other folks.
Oh, good.
Really any platform I can hear you, I'm trying to tap into it.
Okay, good. Okay, well, definitely check me out on YouTube. I have lots of free trainings there, and then also on my website, stacyrossetti.com. There's a lot of free trainings and stuff.
Absolutely.
Now I'm in Austin right now, Austin, Texas. I'm actually originally from Austin, Texas, and grew up in Austin. And my family's still here, so we're just here hanging out with my family, just doing like a vacation. But actually, one of the main reasons that I'm here right now is because I met somebody just along the way that wants to partner with me. Okay. And this person lives in San Francisco. They've been wanting to get in storage for a while. And I happened to speak at an event. And so they just came, they came up to me, started talking. This was probably at the beginning of this year. and they are very, very interested in Austin, Texas. And I don't know, if you guys know that Austin, Texas is probably the fastest growing city, one of the fastest growing cities in the country right now. Everything is super duper expensive, and I just happen to be from Austin, so. And I told her, I was like, well, I'm going to be in Austin, and in June, so let me just go around and try to figure out what we can do. She is actually buying property in Austin as well too. She wants to move to Austin. There's a lot of San Francisco people. They move into all California people are moving to Austin, and that's one thing that you can do as well too. Is you can like really kind of follow like U-Haul or CubeSmart or somebody like this. And what they do is they follow the migratory patterns of like where people are moving to. And there's a lot of Californians moving to like Dallas and San Antonio and Austin. And so she wants to live in Austin. So she just bought a house down there. And she wants to partner, and she's like adamant about boat and RV storage. This is because like we started talking about it a while back. We first started talking. I just said, I'm thinking about doing some boat and RV storage. And I got into like why. And the reason why is because it's like, so much cheaper. You just, you buy a piece of property and you fence it in. And if you want, you could do some covered parking and stuff like this. And it's a lot easier to manage as well too. And you make a lot of money on it. But what I'm doing essentially now in Texas is I'm driving for storage, which if you follow me, you know that what I do is really market research. That's what I'm doing right now. Where are all the storage facilities that I can afford at? Right. And if it's boat and RV storage, essentially, where are all these boat and RV storages? So I'm staying right now on Lake Travis. And we're here, and we've been here for a week now. We're going to be for another week. And our goal was to drive the entire Lake Travis. Actually, let me just share this with you so y'all can see. And this will give you an idea of what you should be doing as well, too. What it is it's market research, right? Market research. So let me see. Google Maps, Austin. Okay, and I'm staying, let's see, let me zoom in. I'm staying on Lake Travis. Let me show you where I'm at here. And I'm really, honestly, I lived in Austin for many, many years, but my God, I drove around Austin like, what is going on here? It's like just going crazy here, right? I have no idea what's going on here. I haven't lived here in like 20 years. So essentially, I was like, let me just drive around. So you can see we're here. I'm in the Hudson Bend area. This is where we're at right now. And so one day we drove all the way through this area and drove all the way around and found so many storage facilities. Older ones, newer ones, just really got to know the lay of the land all through this area in here. We drove all the way up in here. Actually, we drove all the way up through here and into these little areas so I could see where everything was. And then another day we drove all the way to Marble Falls, which is right here. And we just kind of stayed inside this 71. So we did not, we came back home on the 71. But to get there, we drove all the way up in this area to Marble Falls. Tomorrow, we're doing like the Marble Falls. Here's Lake Buchanan, you see. So Marble Falls, Horseshoe Bay. And then if we can, we'll see if we can make it up to Lake Buchanan. I'm not sure because there's a lot of storage facilities in this area. And there's a lot of boat and RV parking and there's all kinds of stuff, right? And then one day, if we don't make it, we'll drive this whole lake and we'll just hang out and probably stop in the middle. We've been stopping in the middle halfway, and there's like, in Texas there's like swimming holes there everywhere, so you can stop and like take a dip and then you can get back on the road and go, which is really nice. We've been doing that, and so it's kind of a vacation, but it's also research. And then another day, the very last day that we're here, we're going to come around this way and we're going to drive all through here and just check it out as well too, and just check all this area out. And so that's like a week's worth of driving. Oh, I'm sorry. And then one day I had to speak at the San Antonio RIA. I spoke down here last week. So we drove, and this was probably, I loved this trip so much. I mean, I just love Texas so much. But we drove from where we're at right here, and we drove down this road right here. And we drove like down here to here, and then we went all the way like to the Canyon Lake. Canyon Lake has way too many boat and RV storage, way too much. It's like ridiculous amount of boat and RV storage, and which is good. So I learned that by going there and looking, and you guys know I live in Georgia. That's where I live. I don't live in Texas. I traveled here to do market research, to learn about where I want to be building. And the truth of the matter is, and you guys can do the exact same thing. So the way that I'm thinking is exactly how you need to be thinking, right? Because most of us cannot afford to build. I'm not going to build. First of all, Atlanta is saturated. Like there's way too much storage. And then even on the outskirts, I mean, all this area into Georgetown and all this area here, I mean, it's just like, it's too much. It's too much. It's too expensive. It's too much, right? But when you get out into this land right here, when you get out into this area, and I'm going to tell you that Austin is coming out this way. All right. It's coming this way. I mean, it's getting pushed out here. If you know anything about Austin, like it is just going to be, it's going to come out here. A lot of people, we drove into a subdivision here in Dripping Springs, a brand new subdivision going up with like huge, big ass houses, like 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom houses, 3,600 square feet, huge houses on like huge, big acre lots. And they were starting at $725,000 starting. And that is right. I mean, the 290, and this is not very far. Let's just say you do work like in this area. This is like a 30-minute drive. It's not very far at all. I mean, I live in Atlanta. Everywhere you drive in Atlanta is at least 45 minutes to an hour. I mean, no matter what. All right. And so this is really not that far. And this is the mindset of a lot of people, because there's a lot of people moving to these little towns right here. There's not a lot going on here. Like it's kind of slowly coming out this way. It's really, it's interesting, but there's a huge big development here. And then also down here, so many developments, right? So you could be like living in this area down here, or, you could just drive and live down here. So we just really honestly, the truth is that we are spending 2 weeks out here. Like we're 15 days out here, and 5 of those days are driving. Essentially 5 to 6 days are just essentially driving around and really getting to know the areas that we're interested in. And I'm the type of person, honestly, like I'm gonna live where I want to live, or I'm gonna have places where I want to like vacation and stuff. So I'm like, I know if I'm going to move to Austin, it's going to be somewhere on the lake somewhere, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, let's just do some, I can always buy a house here, build something out here if I wanted to move out here. And then just, from here to here, this is not even actually from here, our house to San Antonio, from our house to San Antonio, this far. This distance from here, coming down here to here to here, this is like an hour and 30 minutes. It's not very far at all. So I always tell everybody, when you're doing market research, when you're trying to figure out where you want to be and what you want to be doing, 2 hours is not that far from your house, right? So you can't afford primary markets. You can't afford secondary markets, maybe, because it's like crazy prices right now. But you can't afford tertiary markets. And tertiary markets are going to be an hour to 2 hours outside of your area. So Scottsdale, so we could just say, like, we'll look up here in the Scottsdale area, and we could just kind of pull up Scottsdale. And let's see, Scottsdale, Arizona is here. So there's a lot of tertiary markets in Arizona, so you're here up in this area. Let's see. Now, I mean, the question is, like, if you're up in this area, what areas would be a good area for you to focus on? Now, this is all mountain here, right? So there's probably not a lot of livable space up here, but I'm not sure because I haven't been over in this area. So the question is, what areas are good areas for you to be in? You can't obviously be in Phoenix. You can't be in all this area unless you have a ridiculous amount of money, or you're very good at raising money, right? If you can raise money, well, then obviously you can be in secondary or primary markets. But if you don't know how to do that yet, if you're a beginner, like Cody said, then how far is 2 hours from you? If this is where you're at, right? How far is 2 hours? Hang on just a second. My dog is crying. Come on. All right. Cool. Okay, it's about to storm here, so my dog hates storms, just FYI. So if you see her like running around, I don't know if you can see it because there's some sharing, but essentially that's her breathing really heavily, okay? Anyway, so here is Scottsdale, right? Yeah, here's Scottsdale, right? How big is Scottsdale? How much is that driving distance? I'm not sure. But I would be all up in here, all looking around here. I don't even know how far is Morristown or Surprise. Is that considered far away? You can unmute yourself and tell us if you want.
Surprise would be about an hour away. Morristown's most likely like an hour and a half. So just like you were saying earlier, 2 hours, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing.
No, it's not, I promise. And actually, the truth of the matter is something that I tell my students all the time. The farther away your storage facilities are, the better.
I like that.
Yes. And the reason why is because you have to automate your facilities. You have to systematize them. You have to, you have to make them contactless, right? So, if you can, right, if you can go farther out, right, it's always better. Every facility that I've ever bought, the owners always live right around the corner, right? And they just get up every single day and they just manage those facilities, right? So we don't want to be that person, right? We want to be like, and I'm always wondering, like, what are they doing all day long? Because last year we traveled like 8 months, right? So come here. All right, so that's Scottsdale. So I think you got a lot of opportunity there. Let me see. Come here. There you go. Lulu's shaking, so I'm going to hold her. She's freaking out here. And my husband went out and did something. I don't know what he did. Okay, so here's this. So I would be like, yeah, I'm not sure how big this is, but I would definitely like this 303 and the 202 and all this. This is all considered primary market to me. I would consider this all primary market. And anything outside of this area, like Queens Creek, and then this kind of area out here, and we could go zoom in a little bit, probably see more. Yeah. All this area out here, this would all be like secondary market to me. Okay. Because I know Phoenix and I know how expensive it is. And then here in this area here, Sun Lakes, maybe Chandler, Maricopa, Blackwater, all these kinds of areas, that's where I would be focusing. I see somebody's asking questions. Let me do this here and see. And actually, if you want to talk, I've already given everybody like permission allowed to talk. Y'all could just hang out. Cancel. Who wants to talk? Raise your hand if you want to talk, and I'll allow you to talk. I think I can. Allow to talk is not available. Oh, okay. Okay, so you, David, you cannot talk. All right, because you are like some old version of Zoom, just so you know. Okay, who is next? Who needs help? Indira, you're not muted. Do you want to say something?
No, it said that the host wanted to unmute me, so I did. But
okay.
I'm fighting a migraine.
I was allowing you to talk if you wanted to talk.
I'm fighting a migraine. I'm trying to hang in there.
Okay, all right, no problem. I get it.
Thank you.
And then who
I have
else?
a question for you.
Yes, go ahead.
So when you identify, like a market that might, I forget what you called it. You had a word for it. Like not a secondary market, but a third.
There's primary, secondary, and tertiary markets.
Tertiary.
Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Hang on. If I can figure that out, hang on. Share content. Can I share content? Yes. Okay. All right. Here's the primary. Uh-oh. Hang on, I'll fix this. Maybe my pen's not working. There it is. Can you see that? Okay, good. Okay. Here is the primary. Hang on, I'm going to put them out just 1 second. There it is. Maybe it's not working.
So Stacy, while you do that,
Yeah.
you find the market you want to start really kind of looking at. What do you do from there as far as like identifying all the storage facilities that might be in that general area? Is it just a matter of driving down all the roads and kind of looking for them? Is there a way to pull like
Yes.
title reports or anything to get yeah.
Yeah, so what you're going to do is you're going to look on Google Maps. Okay, well, actually think about this. Like you just have to think about it this way. If somebody is looking for storage, where are they going to go? They're going to go to Google, right?
Yeah.
It's either going to be right around the corner from them, or they're going to go to Google and they're going to go into Google business listings. So when I'm driving around, I'll show you what my process is. It's just looking on Google. It's either looking on Google business listings or Google Maps. I'm sorry, not Google Maps. Landglide. All right. So I can show you. Does anybody have the app Landglide? If you don't, I highly recommend that you get it. It's $10 a month. All right. So just FYI, it's not free, but it's the best map in the world. And let me see. I'm going to show y'all how that works here in just a minute, but I just want to make sure my Bluetooth is on connected. It says connected. So let's see if I can figure this out now. Okay, test. Hang on. Okay, there you go. Got it. Okay, all right. So primary, secondary, and tertiary markets. Primary, secondary, and tertiary markets. So this is a Phoenix right here, okay? And this would be considered a primary market. Okay. And then you have the suburbs of Phoenix, which is considered a secondary market. Okay. Primary market and secondary market really all just depends on, like what your town looks like. The primary market and the secondary market of Phoenix is going to look completely different than Nashville, right? Nashville is going to be maybe longer, like a longer circle loop. Does it include Murfreesboro? It might be like kind of longer circle oval shaped, right? Whereas like the Phoenix group is going to be kind of like a circle shape, right? And then you have what's called the tertiary markets, this area right here. Now, all of these are, and tertiary is like country, okay? All these are, now these markets are all based on cap rate. And you're going to you have to learn what cap rate is, all right? So if you join storage nerds, you'll get to really get into what cap rate is. But the tertiary market is, the tertiary market is going to be like an 8+ cap rate, but probably more to 10 rate. Okay, that's cap rate is what that is, okay?
And is that the higher that number, that's typically good, right? Better?
Well, it depends on who you ask. If you ask U-Haul, they don't want an 8+ cap rate, right? They want like a 4, 5, 6 cap rate. Why? That's where the primary market is. So 4 to 6% cap rate is primary.
That's where the $1 million is.
Okay. 6 to 8% is secondary. Okay. And so, so essentially you're going to have to learn what your market cap rate is. And, and there's a lot of borderline stuff, but the reason you want to know that is because that cap rate is what the appraisal is going to be based off of. Right? So if it's the primary market, they're going to run their numbers at a 4 cap or a 5 cap or a 6 cap. Now, there might be a primary market that's a 7 cap. Maybe if it's like less of a, maybe like a small, like maybe Augusta, Georgia, or like, these smaller towns that are like 100, 50 to 100,000 or 100,000 or less, these smaller towns, their cap rate might be a little bit, their primary market might be a little bit lower on the cap rate, right? So they might not have like a true primary market. Because does that make sense? Cap rate is really the hardest thing for kind of people to understand. And the reason why is because there's no rules. There's no rules. It's basically what the lender feels that your cap rate for your market is, right? So that's why I know one of the main reasons I like to be in the tertiary market, because I can always run my numbers on an A cap no matter what, because I know it'll praise most likely at an A cap. Right. But when you're in a secondary and a primary market, those numbers kind of get, construed a little bit. Right. Just depending on what type of primary market it is. Now, I can probably say that a primary market for Phoenix is like definitely 4 to 6%. And as you go outside of Phoenix into the secondary market, you're going to get like a 6 to 8% cap rate, but most likely a 6 to 7% cap rate, and 8% plus would be like out in the country. You know what I'm saying? So, but
why
yeah,
that's higher out in the country is just because of less population.
yes, it's based on population versus total square footage, right? The formula is population of 3 to 5 mile radius divided by the total population of that same area. And it should be between 6 and 8 per square foot. And that's basically if you determine whether or not that market is a good market for you to be in. So if you're trying to figure, and this is the formula that like nobody wants to do or understand, but this is the formula that everybody has to understand, right? Is that storage facilities are based off of total square footage versus like total population. It's really based off of the market, right? So because it's very retail driven. This is like, it's, even though it's investing in real estate, it's retail driven. That's the one thing that a lot of people don't understand, is that when you get into storage, this is not like buying residential real estate. Commercial real estate is completely different. And within the commercial real estate world, you've got like multifamily, you've got like office space, and then you also have warehouse space. And storage falls into warehouse. And warehouse is based off of square footage. That's the price. Like you're going to hear in the industry, it's 33 cents a square foot, 53 cents a square foot. That's the number that you're going to have to learn how to do. Okay, so let me just show you this. Do I want to exit the square? I'm gonna stop. Oh, I gotta stop it here. Okay, yeah. So stop screen share. Now I'm going to show you just one of the deals. I do coaching calls every single Monday. Okay. And let me see if I could figure out where we're gonna go here to show you. Like I just went over like I had like 3 or 4 coaching calls right before y'all, and here they are. So let me find this one here. Yeah, actually right here. This is it. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go back here, pull this up. Share screen. Yeah, this is it. Okay. So if you decide to join Storage Nerds, which I highly recommend, if y'all really want to do this, y'all got to get into, y'all got to be surrounded by people like me, right? And so this is one of the facilities that I just talked to. One of my students' name is Ted, and he joined and he bought his first facility. He's been in the coaching program for a year now, almost a year and a half, and he bought his first storage facility within the first 6 months, and now he's looking for his second one now. And actually what happened is he bought his first one, and then he's starting to build on. He's adding, because there was extra space and stuff, so he's adding on. So it's really like the first one, and then the second is kind of his new construction, and then now he's looking for his third, right? And he's only been in the coaching program for like a year. I mean, he's going into the next part of the year, which is awesome, right? So he brought this one to me, and this is what we just talked about. so this is what he found this driving for storage. He went on vacation. He was coming back. He's like, we're going to take the back roads, right? So now you're going to start taking the back roads to get back, right? And this is the deal analyzer. Once you get into storage nodes, you're going to get access to this, and you're going to learn how to run numbers. But I'm just going to show you. These are what your inputs are going to be if you're looking to analyze your deals, okay? So the purchase price is $775,000. He's going to borrow money to purchase this at 5% interest for 360 months, okay? And the cap rate is a 9 cap. So if it's a 9 cap, which market is it in? We all know this is tertiary markets. He's driving the back road. He's in a tertiary market. I know. I'm sorry. I wish I could hold you. I wish I could help you. I know you're scared. The annual income right now is $65,000. This is what the owner makes right now. It's 156 units. The total square footage is 23,240 square feet, right? So to run the numbers, these are the numbers that you're going to need for the inputs in any of the deal analyzers, anything that you do, or anything that you need. You're going to need this information. The vacancy is 25%, right? So that means it's 75% full and 25% vacant, okay? And then doesn't really need any work, so there's no repairs or anything needed. The property taxes are $6,820. Utilities are $1,200 a year. Insurance is $3,300 per year. Okay, so this is it. And then these are the inputs that we give all of our students based off of our numbers, right? So this will come with the sheet, but this is like all the inputs that you're going to need for expenses. I know, I'm sorry. I know you're scared. 11,000. So property maintenance is going to cost $11,625. Staffing is going to cost $6,200. That's like boots on the ground people. This is everything, right? Software is $3,600. And the marketing cost for the year is $2,000. The mortgage payment is going to be $64,750 for the year. So a total cost of $88,000. Guess it's going to cost him $88,000 for the year, and he's only making $65,000. Is that a good deal? What do you think? Is that a good deal?
No.
You don't think it's a good deal until you learn and understand cap rate. Now, when you value a deal, you're looking at your current as-is price. It's a mismanaged facility. So mismanaged facilities are never good deals on the front end, right? And somebody wants to chat, so let me see if I can figure this out and put this up. I'm going to exit. I'm going to make sure I can. Who wants to chat? Let's go in here. Q&A chat. Mark does. Okay. Oh, yeah. You can always unmute yourself. I think you can unmute yourself and ask. And then who else is here? Anybody else in the chat? Mark is and Indira. Okay, good. Okay. So we're going to go back. I'm going to share my screen again. So when you learn and understand cap rate, you have to look at what the opportunity is, right? So what we do is we look at what's called current as-is value. And then we also look at potential, right? Potential means that it's 75% full, but we're going to bring it full is what we're going to do. Now we run the numbers off of full at 8%, right? Because there's always people coming in and out and stuff like this, right? So you never want to run it at 100%, right? Because your numbers are going to be skewed because you're never 100% full. You always have a couple of vacancies, right? And so that's potential that you can see here, right? So we're going same inputs, but we're going from 25 to 8%. And then we have after updates. After updates is the opportunity. So as you can see, the owner is not charging what he should be charging. It's at 31 cents a square foot right now, and he should be charging 54 cents a square foot. So that means that the annual income is going to go from 65,000 to 138,000. And that probably will happen within the first year. It will not, because you're just going to start increasing rates. All you have to do is come up with 25% vacancy. That's not a lot of vacancy, honestly. That's really not in 156 units. You know what I'm saying? That's really not that hard. Maybe a year to get you full. So in the first year, he's going to go from $65,000 to $138,000 per year annually. So as you can see on the spreadsheet, it's valued at $335,000 at a 9 cap. And this is where you can play around with your numbers. If it's a 10 cap, you can run it at these numbers. You can say, oh no, I'm going to just value it at an 8 cap, right? So, we're valuing this really truly at an 8 cap because it's in a secondary market. I mean, it's in a tertiary market, but on the outskirts of a secondary market. So we're going to value it as an 8 cap. So its current valuation is $377,000. He put an offer in for $775,000. That's $400,000 over the price of what it's valued at. Now, when you look at a property like this, there is no bank that is going to lend you this money for this deal. You can't go and put 20% down and get an SBA loan on this. And the reason why is because you're buying it not for as-is price. This is why everybody's like, I need as-is. Well, look at what it's worth. It's worth $561,000 at just becoming full from 25% to 8% vacancy. All right. And after we raise the rates, which is going to be in the same year anyway, so you should really look at the after updates price, it's valued at $1.2 million. That's a 13% cap rate. Okay, so that is an incredible jump. So a lot of people miss out on a lot of opportunities. And the reason why is because they only want to buy as is value. But when you buy mismanaged properties, you miss out on so many opportunities on the back end, right? You have to be willing to come out of pocket. You have to be willing to say, yes, I'm okay with finding money and borrowing money or partnering with other people for this deal because I know on the back end, I'm going to make almost $1 million, right? So then you can also on the sheet here, you can see that the NOI is $103,000 and they're going to net every single month, every year they'll net after their mortgage, they'll net 40 grand a year is what they'll do based on the expenses. Okay. So you'll have to look at the entire deal. You're going to look at the entire deal to run everything. But I just feel that a lot of people miss out on really good deals because they're only looking at the as-is value. All right. And they're not looking at the potential. But a mismanaged facility is very hard to fund. All right. You have to have people that understand these kinds of deals. You have to have lenders that will lend to you. There's no bank, there's no community bank, there's no SBA that's going to do that. So essentially, you either have to learn to raise money, and which is what I do. I raise money. You can start a fund, you can learn to syndicate, or you can partner, or you can have your own money, right? And that's what you do with mismanaged facilities. Okay, questions. I see some people raising hands. I'm so scared. Okay, I see who has some questions. Who's raising a hand? We have, okay, Kevin. All right, ask me, can you talk? Okay, go for it.
Hey, Stacy, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
All right. I was a few minutes late, so I apologize if you covered this already in the time that I missed. But so I know from residential real estate, some of the things you look for in wholesale market is distressed properties. So in storage properties, how do you locate properties or storage facilities, I should say, that would be ripe for bringing interest in? Obviously, if there's a storage facility that's cash flow positive, why would they be willing to sell it? So how do you identify the types of storage facilities that would be potential candidates for looking to purchase?
Yes, we did cover that in the first 15 minutes that you missed. So
I'm sorry. That's okay. I'll
Okay.
go back and listen to it.
no,
You don't have to recover.
I'll show you real fast what I'm doing. Okay. This is how I find all my facilities. I have number 10 under contract. I'm about to put number 11 under contract, and I'm working on number 12 right now. Okay. And I bought my first facility. I bought in the first year one. Second one was year two. Third one was year three. And then after that, just started buying them. Right. So kind of like it took me a couple of years to kind of truly figure out how to do this. Okay. This is what I did. I drive for storage. That's what I do. I drive for storage. And actually the truth is this is where the best deals are. People don't believe me. I get it. And actually I just had somebody text me, and one of my ex-students that decided to leave the program, he was like, when you figure out how to find storage facilities easier, let me know. All right. But it's not easy. It's not easy being green. Okay. So you have to either pay a lot of money for your facilities because everybody wants to just go online to find their facilities, or you have to drive for storage. All right. So what I would be doing is, if I lived in Phoenix, I would be driving every area between the 200 and the 303. I would be like, okay, here's my first area. Here's my second area. Here's my third area. Here's my fourth area. Here's my fifth. Here's this like a half day right here. Here's like a half day right here. And I would be driving those areas. And then when I'm right in front of the facilities, and I can tell you there's facilities out there, right? I can tell you because I do this all the time. When I'm right in front of the facility, I call the owner up. This is not like driving for storage, make a list, go back and search for the names. Because guess what? Those facilities out in tertiary markets, they all have the phone numbers right on the sign. Right on the sign. Isn't that awesome? And guess what? The owners, they all live right around the corner. I say 95%, they all live right around the corner. And when you're out there driving, you just call them up and see if they want to meet. Hey, look, I want to buy your facility. I'm right here in front of your facility. I have to see your facility right here. It's got like 2 buildings, and I see a tree over here, and I see like an RV over here. And they're like, oh my God, they really are in front of your facility. Like, okay, I'm right here. Let's meet. I want to buy your facility. Can we talk right now? And that is how you find storage. And that's how you find the best deals. Because guess what? Every storage facility that I've ever bought, except for my first one, which was on the MLS, but that was 5 years ago when you could go on the MLS and find good deals, right? But every storage facility after that, I'm right in front of the facility, and the owners have no idea that they want to sell. No idea that they want to sell. I'm the one that tells them that they want to sell. And that is how you find the best deals out there. And I have students in my coaching program right now. I got off the call with Heather, and this is how she finds her deals. This is exactly how she finds her deals, right? And I'm telling you, you make so much money that way. You make so much more money that way than buying them online. Go ahead. Sorry, Cody.
Sorry to interrupt you. What do you find is the most common reason for these owners to want to sell? Is it like they're
old?
Older?
They're
Yeah.
old.
So it's old.
They're old. Yeah, they're all older. I would say 80% of everybody everybody I've ever talked to is an old white guy. Now I'm in Georgia, but it's like that's what they are. I mean, that's what it is, right? So be prepared mentally, and actually women I think have a lot easier than men. And like Ted, the guy that's in my coaching program, his wife is the one that calls a lot of the times, and most of the time actually his wife is the one calling. Heather, I told you Heather calls. I'm telling you, ladies got it easier in this thing. Take advantage. All right, we don't got it easier in a lot of stuff. So, but I don't know why, but it's just how it is, So, now when you get into primary markets, like when you get into secondary and primary markets, it's a little bit different. But tertiary markets, most of the time, this is how it is. All right. And I've called pretty much every storage facility in Georgia. I've called almost every single one. I've called 700 storage facilities in Georgia. And I've talked to almost every single owner, and we just keep calling and keep calling. Now, a lot of times they don't answer the phone too, so you just have to keep calling. The ones that don't answer the phone, you just have to keep calling. But that's just how it is. Or what you could do, right, is you could buy a list and send out a letter. And guess what? Nobody going to call you back.
Right.
I can tell you. Nobody ever calls us back from our letters. I've had one person call me back that was like, I almost bought his facility and then we couldn't agree on the price. Right? Now I get letters all the time. I got a letter right here from somebody. Let me show you this letter. I get letters all the time. People want to buy my facilities. I'm not going to call them. Well, I got a letter right here from somebody. Home away storage. My husband and I are local storage investors who own a self-storage facility in Alabama similar to yours. We're looking to purchase another facility in the area this year, and your property fits the criteria. Right here. Guess what? Just going to put it in my drawer next to my ledger. That's what I'm going to do. Put it right in the drawer next to my ledger. All right? That's what they do. They put it in the drawer next to their ledger. I keep telling everybody over and over again. I have a student right now that's buying a $1.5 million facility, and the owner does not own a computer. He does not own a computer. Isn't that crazy? All right, so there's definitely some opportunity out there. Hopefully I inspired you to get out there and look. And if you want to do it the easy way, you buy a list and you send out a letter or you call them. Okay. But like right here, when you go to Google Maps, right, and I search storage in this area, okay, what? When you're right here, look, it's like public storage cubes. It's like public storage. It's all this like big ones, right?
Out of the city though.
That's it. I can guarantee you out here, when you search storage, all these areas over here, there's going to be storage facilities all up in this area. But guess what? How do you get on Google Maps? How do you get on Google Maps? If you've been on my webinars, you've heard me say this before. You have to go to Google Business Listings. It's super hard. It's not easy. Right? You go to Google Business Listings. Right? You go to your thing, you go to Google My Business right here, and then you have to like figure all this out. You got to put your profile in. You got to put all your information in. You got to go online. You got to sign in. You got to figure out computer stuff. Do you think the guy that owns a computer is coming and doing all this? You have to have a mailbox. Every storage facility we've ever bought does not have a mailbox.
True.
Right? So you have to get a mailbox and you have to like they mail you a card. It has a code on it. You got to go back into the website, put your code in, and finish out your profile. Add all the questions. Put your photos. Put your videos. Put your logo. I'm gonna tell you, the guy that has no computer, he ain't doing that. Right? So that's how you find the best deals. I call it the hidden market. So you got to get in there and start really digging around. So we drove around. We've driven now days here. We've driven it seems like a long time. It's like at least 5 hours a day for the last couple of days. And I've probably found like 50 storage facilities. And probably out of all 50 of those, probably maybe half of them are on Google Maps. That's it. Okay. So that's what you got to do. Okay, so we got some questions here. What tertiary markets would you recommend in Georgia? Oh, so you're in Georgia. So you want to be like anywhere outside of the major cities, Atlanta, or like, I mean, just outside the major cities is where you want to be. There's so many opportunities in Georgia. I mean, we own all of our storage facilities. Everything that we're buying is in Georgia, except for now we have one under contract in Florida, in the Panhandle. But we buy almost all of our storage facilities are in Georgia. And guess what? We just drive around and ask what they want to sell. That's all we do. The app again is Land Glide. Land Glide. It is the best app in the whole world. All right. And and it tells you all the property data, right? So this is what Land Glide. Okay. Right. And it just look at all the property. So I'm looking at it now. I'm like, oh, there I am. Jennifer owns this house that we're in. We're in an Airbnb right now. And she bought it on 10/13/2013 for $202,000. It's on 0.47 acres, right? Shows you all that information right here, right there. You see? I don't know if you can see. It's kind of hard. But anyways, you can pull that down and up. And then even at the bottom, you can scroll it down. You can click on the county link. If you can see that little blue thing right there, there's the county link. It gives you all the information. And then, but the best part is like when you're out driving for storage, right? You know, it's this. It's like, where are the property boundaries, right? Who owns this thing, right? Look, Keith Bodehammer, he owns a lot of property in this area. He owns a lot. Oh my gosh, he does. He owns like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lots here. Right? So interesting. Land Glide. You can see how much they paid for it, what basically what they're paying the tax value on, right? That doesn't mean it's going to be what you're buying or selling it for, but that's what it's appraised at. You know, that's what the tax value is appraised at. That's what they're paying their taxes on. That makes sense. So Land Glide is awesome. I love it. David says, how important is it for cap rate to be high-low for private funding? Well, it depends on who your private funder is, right? So like I have lenders, private lenders, they have no idea about cap rate. When I talk to them, I don't even bring up cap rate. I just say, look, this is a great deal. You want to make money on it. You're going to make this much. I'm going to make this much. Bing, bang, boom. Let's do it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You don't want to confuse it because guess what? They're like they're like neighbors and friends and family and stuff, right? So they don't care about cap rate. They don't care about cap rate. All right. They trust you as the person. Okay. And then I have other lenders like the one that I'm meeting here, like I'm looking here in Austin to partner with, and they want to know what the cap rate is. I mean, that's like, it's going to be like millions of dollars what we do. Right. So they care about cap rate, so it just really depends on the lender. It really depends on the lender. Okay. What they want, I think, if that makes sense. Okay. Who else? Any other questions? Any other final questions? Okay. Yeah, we got that one done. So let me say that's done. What else? Final questions. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully that inspired you. Make sure that you please go to stacyrossetti.com. All right. And you should check out my coaching program, right? Stacy Rossetti. Or you can do my online course if you want to do the online course and just do it on your own, or the coaching program. I do, it's by application only. The coaching program is only open until July 10th and 11th. I'm closing it after that. Okay. So if you're interested in the coaching, you got to join now because I'm going to close the doors after the 2-day boot camp. So come to my website and then just make sure you go to Storage Nerds is the coaching program. Here's my online course, Super Simple Self-Storage online course. Lots of free trainings right here if you're interested in that. Here's my investor stuff. If you want to see how I raise money, go to the investor page. Consult with me if you want to pay for consulting. And then here is the event I wanted to show you. Getting started is a 2-day boot camp that's coming up, 2-day boot camp. start, and it's happening on July 10th and 11th. All right, so you have to, and it's only $1,000. You join the Storage Nerds coaching program because it's only for my students. But if you want like just 2 full days of like, getting to learn how to, to invest in self-storage, highly recommend this as well too. After this, I'm closing my coaching program. That's it. I'm gonna close it and just focus on my students, focus on getting them deals and things like that. And I probably won't open it up for at least a couple of months towards the end of the year. Okay, just so everybody knows. All right. I hope that helped. Oh, I saw one more question popped up. Oh, I did that one. Okay. All right. So I hope that helped you guys, and I will see you guys at the next session. If you're interested in the coaching program, set an appointment with me through Storage Nerds, and we can chat. Okay. All right. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.